With James Gunn's new Superman movie on the horizon, there's a lot of buzz about what kind of Man of Steel we're about to see on the screen. And as always, the comics are the best place to truly understand what makes Superman Superman and exactly what makes him tick. Whether you're a longtime fan who grew up with the Big Blue Boy Scout, or you're just jumping in now thanks to the DCEU reboots and all of the stuff that's been going on with the DC universe, this list is designed to give you more of an ultimate decent foundation for the Superman comic media as a general whole, and just give you somewhere as a starting off. These aren't just stories about Superman being strong, these are stories about why he chooses to do good, what makes him different from every other hero, and how he manages to be the most human out of all of us despite being from another world. Some are emotional, some are epic, and some of them are just truly essential. Let's dive in to the top 5 Superman comics that you definitely need to read before you go watch the new movie that comes out at the end of this week. First and foremost, the most obvious and most essential comic that you do need to read before this movie comes out would have to be All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. This is an essential read for a good plethora of reasons, but before we get into that, let me just explain what this entire 12-issue run is about. So, the basic gist of this is Superman is dying. He is, ready to meet his maker. He's getting to that end, and before he gets there, he, instead of actively, just doing what normal people do, letting bygones be bygones, letting all of these things happen like normal, he decides to do 12 super impossible tasks to, get a little something before everything happens. That's not, the exact way that you gotta read it, but that's just, a little more fun way of putting it down. But this entire, as I said, 12-issue run is an absolute masterpiece. Superman is at his most mythical and poetic, and Grant Morrison isn't just writing a superhero comic here, he is writing and crafting something that is truly just beautiful to read in general. Every issue leans into Superman's most godlike qualities while still anchoring him in a deep emotional truth. Frank Quitely's distinct expressive art style elevates it so much further also, offering a version of Superman who is awe-inspiring but gentle. As I said, what you're going to basically see is Superman complete Herculean tasks, face impossible odds, and yet still find time to reassure a suicidal teen that her life matters. It balances cosmic stakes with intimate moments like no other comic before or after, and it just truly shows you what kind of person Superman is. And if you're wondering for a movie connection, James Gunn has already publicly confirmed and admitted that All-Star Superman is a major source of inspiration for this film, and if there's one book on this entire list that you should read, this is absolutely the one. This is the one that, even if you're not going to listen to me, just listen to James Gunn and take some time out of your day. Find a place, find your nearest comic book store, find it online, and just, take the time to actually read this masterpiece. The second comic that you should definitely be reading is Superman Birthright by Mark Waid and Leinil. This is arguably the definitive modern origin for Superman, and I'm gonna guess by now that everybody knows what Superman's origin is, but if the chance that you don't know what it is and you just haven't watched any Superman movies up until now, and this is somehow miraculously your first Superman movie that you're ever gonna be watching, this is a very good way to kind of get a little grasp on just basic origins of Superman and kind of see the kind of character that he is. Mark Waid strips down the character and builds him up back in a way that makes Clark Kent feel like somebody who could truly exist in our world today, and at the same time, it preserves the aspirational spirit that always defined Superman. What you kind of get to see in this is basically Clark's journey from a confused young adult to the world's greatest hero in a way that feels raw and authentic. Lex Luthor gets a reimagining that makes him even more dangerous and compelling, obviously, and Clark's work as a journalist becomes more central to his heroism. This is a deep focus on identity, empathy, and the burden of being different. The movie connection that I could kind of give you here is the themes of alienation, hope, and finding your place in a world that isn't exactly ready to see and have you in it isn't exactly ready to find your place in. And we've already seen the trailers and everything else like that, and we could kind of see the way that this is going to tie into this movie. Birthright hits all of those beats while still feeling fresh and cinematic, and I'm definitely going to suggest that you read this one too. Third on the list is Superman for All Seasons, made by Jeph, Loeb, and Tim Sale. Told through the eyes of people around Clark. This book breaks down Superman basically by season, reflecting his emotional and spiritual growth, and it is very much a beautiful, quiet comic filled with Midwestern charm, emotions, and a stunning watercolored artwork. What to kind of look for in this is basically each chapter is narrated by someone close to Clark. Pa Kent, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Lana Lang. These perspectives show us how Superman touches the lives of people near him in ways that he doesn't even realize. We all know that this is basically the same for everyone else, even in our own world. Every person around us has a way that they view us that is different from the way that we view ourselves. While either some people might hate or love, or however they feel about each other, they could be the brightest point in someone's life or be the worst thing that ever happened to someone else. No matter what, every person in your own circle, every person that you've ever met has a different perspective, like the perspective of you, and not any of them are actively true, but altogether kind of gets you a good grasp. So these perspectives just show you how interesting of a character Superman can become even more. And the artwork made by Tim Sale leans into a nostalgic reinforcing leans into nostalgia reinforcing the story's heartland American tone. This entire story just is a very big thing that one, hopefully we've seen some of the trailers for the entire new movie that's about to come out, and we have already heard from James Gunn that this film will focus on Superman's sincerity and optimism in a cynical world, especially due to the trailers and how we see the world is being portrayed. This story is that theme personified. If you want to understand how Clark's upbringing in Smallville shaped his entire worldview, this is essential reading. Up next on this list would be the 7-issue miniseries Superman American Alien, made by Max Landis and various other artists. So, this 7-issue miniseries tells the story of Clark Kent becoming Superman through a series of personal, intimate snapshots. Each issue focuses on a different stage of Clark's life, from a confused young boy with strange powers to a conflicted hero trying to figure out his place in the world. It's grounded, emotional, and full of surprising nuance. The art style changes various times every issue, giving each chapter its own unique tone and perspective. You see Clark navigating heartbreak, identity, responsibility, and even mistakes, which makes him feel more human, more human than ever. Plus, it offers fresh takes on classic characters like Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, and Batman. And the way that you could easiest connect this to the movie and just kind of see and use this as some kind of movie experience would be the fact of if James Gunn wants to showcase a more humanized, emotionally grounded Superman who still grows into that symbol of hope that we're going to have to see him as in this movie. American Alien is just a must read because it's less about the myth and more about the man, which feels exactly like the tone that James Gunn is going for in this new movie. And last but certainly not least on the Superman read list would be Superman Up in the Sky by Tom King and Andy Kubert. This is a love letter to Superman's moral compass, like the entire story is. In the series, Superman travels across space to rescue one little girl. Not because it's some part of a grand plan, not because, she's the savior of the universe or whatever, but because every life matters. Tom King breaks down what it means to be Superman, stripping away the cape and showing us the heart underneath. Every chapter feels like a philosophical wonder. We see Superman wrestle with difficult decisions, experiencing loss, and holding on to hope in impossible circumstances. And Andy Kubert's art balances the comic and the grounded, making every moment feel grand yet personal. If James Gunn wants to showcase a Superman who is unwaveringly kind and driven towards empathy, Up in the Sky offers a near perfect blueprint right there. So there you have it. My picks for the top 5 Superman comics that you need to read before the new movie releases. These stories span decades, tones, and artistic styles, but they all get the core points of what makes Superman Superman across. It's not just being strong, it's not just being fast, it's about the fact that he cares deeply, passionately, and unrelentingly. Whether it's a mythic legacy of All Star Superman, the grounded realism of Birthright, or the heartwarming nostalgia of all 4 seasons, each of these books gives you a deeper understanding and appreciation of the Man of Tomorrow. Of the Man of Tomorrow. And trust me, reading them before the new movie will only enhance your excitement and enhance your experience of watching the movie firsthand whenever you decide to watch it. But let me know. Did I miss one of your favorites? Want to shout out a hidden gem like Superman's Secret Identity or Man of Steel by John Byrne? Drop your picks down in the comments below and let's talk about them. Anyways, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to get all the, updates on all the videos that I be posting. I know I haven't taken quite a long break of recently, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I just adopted a cat and it's still currently, actively just annoying my recording schedules every now and then. So we'll deal with that and work with that as we can. But besides that, hope you guys stay tuned in right here on Let's Talk Comics for more deep dives and videos like this on the channel. Both all that's said and done, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, and remember, truth, justice, and a better tomorrow is always the way to go. Peace.